wide receiver Christian Kirk of the Arizona Cardinals is officially a free agent this offseason. So the question is, should the Chicago Bears look to target him in free agency? What is going on, y'all? Faiz Sports Talk back at it with another video talking, of course, some NFL here to talk about the Chicago Bears. So if you're a Bears fan, hit the big red subscribe button. Make sure to follow me on all my social media platforms and hit the bell icon so you're notified every time I drop a new video. I will be having a ton of off-season content for you guys. This is only the beginning. So again, make sure you're tuned in and let's get into it. All right, so Christian Kirk, okay? I'm continuing my free agent profiles here with the wide receiver position. Christian Kirk is certainly an interesting name on the list. Now, Christian Kirk last year had a career season, all right? Career season, and that was mainly because DeAndre Hopkins was out for a lot of the time. But still, even when guys get the opportunity, some don't produce. But that's not the case with Christian Kirk. He did. He had 77 catches for 982 yards and 5 touchdowns. So he paced the team in catches and yards, only trailed D-Hop in the touchdown department, and that was by 3. Okay? Played every single game for the Cardinals, something he hasn't done in his relatively short career in the NFL. And the fact is that Christian Kirk showed his versatility this past season because he's a guy who you think is a deep ball guy, right? Runs the go route, is able to catch balls deep. But the Cardinals utilized him in the slot this year, all right? And they wanted to take advantage of his vertical down the field threat from the slot. And so the fact is that Christian Kirk can play the slot, and he showed that he effectively did it. And that's something that obviously you would love to have. 16 plays of at least 20 yards as well for Christian Kirk. So the fact is Christian Kirk was great this past season. He was great for the Cardinals, folks. And I liked everything I saw from Christian Kirk, but the versatility part really sticks out to me because here's the thing, okay? You're thinking of Christian Kirk as just this guy who's got a burner, right? And he's a short receiver, 5'11", 200 pounds. Well, guess what? That's the same size as Darnell Mooney. In fact, Christian Kirk's a little bit bigger in terms of the weight, but about the same size. So you get Christian Kirk, and he's a guy who you can put in the slot. Remember I talked to you guys about yards after the catch, where I want Justin Fields to be able to complete these easy completions, but then the guys who catch it need to be able to get those yards after the catch. They do that via their speed. That's a guy like Christian Kirk. So yes, I want the Bears to go after Christian Kirk. No hesitation here because to me, he checks all the boxes. Still young, 25 years old, same age as Darnell Mooney, around the same size as Mooney. So you kind of have another receiver like that. He can play from the slot, can play the outside. He's shown he can be productive as the number one on a team. I'm not saying he would be the number one for the Bears, but he certainly can play that role. And so to me, everything about Christian Kirk checks the boxes. So even if you give him a long deal or big deal, he's still young enough to hopefully pay it off. All right. What could a contract look like? Well, from what I've researched, of somewhere around 4 years and $50 million would be a number for Christian Kirk. I wouldn't mind that at all. And to me, he had a Pro Football Focus rating of 72, which is the highest he's ever had. It was 42 out of 118 qualified receivers, and he only had 6 drops. So look, folks, let's just be honest about this, all right? Christian Kirk, you compare him to a guy like a Michael Gallup, who I've talked about, you know? He doesn't have the ACL tear you have to worry about. He's not coming off no injury. It's literally every box being checked. Yeah, could he be a little bit bigger? Sure. But at the same time, it didn't stop him from being productive. And again, same size as Darnell Mooney. So I think Christian Kirk should be a top 2-3 target for the Bears in terms of the wide receiver position, right? Taking a look at all the other guys that we talked about, Chris Godwin, he's got an ACL tear. Michael Gallup got an ACL tear. Odell Beckham Jr. got an ACL tear. And that's not a bad thing in terms of stopping you from going after these guys. But what I am saying is that with Christian Kirk, maybe you can get him for a little cheaper. Maybe you can get him as a guy who could be a wide receiver 2, but could play up to the wide receiver 1 level, and he can kind of do it all for you. And he doesn't have the injury concerns that the other guys do. So there's a lot to like here about Christian Kirk. And the more and more I look him up and the more I think about Christian Kirk, the more I'm sold on him. I really am, folks, right? So to me, again, I want the Bears to explore the other guys as well. But Christian Kirk is slowly creeping to the top of that list. And if A-Rob is gone, which I do expect him to be, Christian Kirk should absolutely be near the top of the list for the Bears wide receiver free agent pool. So let me know what you guys think. Do you want Christian Kirk? Leave a comment down below if it's a yes or a no. Let me know as always. Thanks for watching.